ladies and gentlemen, we got that man here. I don't even know where to start. This dude's been in the game for a minute. He's still a young buck though. That's crazy. Um, I mean, you name the accolades, he's got it. I mean, he's been a champion on both sides of it, man. He's been a champion as an equipped lifter. He's been a champion as a raw lifter. Um, Crazy thing is, this is one of the first dudes I ever saw total 2000 in real life. Um, I mean, you can't speak of the 105s without mentioning his name. Bro, like, if you saw him now, you'd be like, yeah, that's that dude. If you would have saw him a couple years ago with the long hair, you'd be like, yo, that's that dude. Like many of us, we were afraid that, hey man, this dude's like Samson. If he cuts his hair, is he gonna lose his strength? But the opposite happened. He got stronger. That's crazy work. I mean, the ladies want to be with him, the men's want to be him. This man is a living legend. A living legend. You cannot speak of the IPF stage without mentioning his name. You can't speak of any modern day top level meet in the Raw era without mentioning his name. This dude is one of the kings of the 105 division, rightfully so. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the living legend, Michael Davis.
Appreciate that, bro. More praise than I deserve for sure.
Man, chill out. I don't think people but people that know me, they know. I mean, and I've gone on my podcast, I've gone on a lot of podcasts on record saying like you are one of my favorite lifters to watch. You've been one of my favorite lifters to watch for the longest, dude. Um, I I honestly, I mean, this could end up being a glaze session, bro. I'm gonna make sure that you get your chance to talk for sure. Um, like without a doubt, bro, you are one of my favorite lifters, like breathing, man. Have been for quite some time. And you know, it's weird. I always think back. This is real talk, man. Before we even hop into it, I want people to understand, like like I have a few favorites, man, but I have clear favorites, man. You're one of my clear favorites, man. Like you're definitely one of those that have you creeped your way onto my lifting Rushmore. Um, it was back when I've talked to you about this story, man. Back when you had to cut that weight for I think it was Chicago. I think it was Chicago.
It was 2019. Was that in
Uh,
Chicago?
I think it was Chicago. You had to cut all that weight, bro. And I was like, I remember thinking like, dog, man, I hope it can do it, man, because it was looking rough. You cut it, 12-hour cut it, and somehow you recouped. You went out, man, and you put on a show, bro. No
Yeah.
joke. I mean, I'd always kind of known of you, and I'd always kind of like follow what you did and everything. And I was like a fan from afar, bro. But like, I got to see that with my own two eyes, man. That was honestly as far as lifting. And again, having it's weird. I feel sometimes like Jeff Teague. I feel like I've been around some of the coolest powerlifting stories. Um, if you were there, you would have like what I'm saying. You just had to be there to see like to watch it all unfold. That was for me one of the greatest bounce backs I've ever seen of anybody having to cut weight and come back and do you put on a show and a half. And I remember, bro. I told my boy straight up, I was like, that boy's cold for real. It's one thing to see it like online, but when you see it firsthand, I'm like, yo, that dude is super cold. And like, no joke, from like no talk, no, like this is real talk. From that point, I remember I went straight to my phone. I followed immediately. Because I was just ghost following at that point. Um, Bro, I've never seen that. And I remember a couple times, man, when I've had to cut, all of this is true story. There's been a couple times that I've cut, you know what I mean? And it's been a pretty bad cut, man. And I'm thinking, like, bro, I don't know if I can make it, man. And then I make the cut and I'm like, yo, hopefully I can bounce back and hit it. And I always think back, like, man, I saw Mikey do that, bro. I can do that. I can do that. Like most recent probably was when I had a meet as an APF meet, bro, in Panama. It's probably one of the hardest. It wasn't a hard cut, it was just a hot cut. And I mean, I cut super, super fast. It was like 25 pounds, dude. Like I was bloated and everything. Like I cut 25 pounds, bro. And literally, I did it in like no joke, maybe 7 hours, 6 hours. I was zonked. I remember laying on that bed. I'm like, yo, man, if I can bounce back from this, bro, man, Mikey did that. I always remember the back. Like, yo, I remember when Mikey did that. I could do that. I can do that. Um, I'm starting off the rip, bro. Like, you are one of the most cutthroat lifters I've ever seen step on a platform. Like, bro, like I know for a fact, you know, I feel like if you're on the platform, nobody's safe. Um, and you operate like that, bro. Like, there's no, you play zero games, bro. You play zero games on that platform. Um, I need to know off the rip, where does that come from, bro? Because I don't even. I'm saying I'm trying to rip a page out of your book, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Mikey. You might be one of the most cutthroat lifters I've ever seen do it, bro.
Damn, I appreciate that, bro. Um, I think some of it is just doing the sport for so long. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
bro, I started powerlifting when I was, what was I? It was freshman year of high school, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. I don't know the
yeah,
exact time, but you do something so much, like you gain that confidence over time.
yeah,
Um, and then once you gain that confidence, a lot of times I'm stepping out at meets, especially when I was competing more frequently. Now it might be a little bit different, but when I was competing more frequently, it's not really too much questions in my head, right? When I step out
no,
on that platform, it's like, hey, this is what I do, and I've been doing this
yeah,
for 10 plus years.
yeah,
You know what I mean? If I do anything good in
yeah,
this world, this is the shit I do good. You
yeah.
know what I mean? So
Facts. It's what I do.
um I have a little bit more confidence about me because of that. I try to look at things, and I've taught this to people, and I've talked to people about this. Some people like to hype meets up, right? Like they need to get themselves up to go do a
Yeah,
big meet. But I try to look at it the opposite way, right? Like I
yeah,
already know when I get there, meet day nerves. That's normal for me.
yeah.
I'm not trying to hype nothing up leading up to the meet. I'm trying to
No,
treat it like, again, same thing. Like this is what I do. It's gonna be
yeah.
normal. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna hit squat, bench, deadlift like I do every time I step in the gym.
Facts.
And I try to keep that level head about it. So then when I get out there, I can execute. You know what I mean?
Man, that's dog. I'm telling you, man. Like I mean, at this point, people know you. You know what I'm saying? There was a point I can remember. It was like pre Sheffy, really. People knew of you, but they didn't really know you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that time of between Worlds and Sheffield, you had about I want to say like a year and a half, 2 year run where like, bro, they ain't no this doesn't exist without Mikey being there. Um, like it was just putting in work. Um, and really, you really started getting more, at least from my perspective, you started getting more respect. Um, Respect that I feel like if you're in Texas, you already know who Mikey Davis is, straight up. If you're in a American powerlifter, you already know who Michael Davis is. Like that's without question. But I feel like you really, kind of caught the rest of the world in a chokehold. They're like, oh no, that's that dude for real. Um, and again, a lot of it's, like I told Big Dev the last podcast was, a lot of it is, I mean, with some of these podcasts, I try to get to know the people. I already know you. With every one of them, it's trying to give people their flowers right now because we are definitely in the age of powerlifting where it's what have you done for me lately, number one. And two, if I haven't seen your last 2 meets, but I don't even know who you are, which is crazy work. Um, and the fact of the matter is, man, like, you've been powerlifting longer than I have. You know what I'm saying? Which is, think about like a problem. Like I got a good 10, 15 on you, at least. Um, but the one thing that I've always admired about you is just like, like you said, man, you go out like I do this. Um, you know what I mean? Like you're very no nonsense, man. Like there's no, you know what I'm saying? Like in the back, you know, you don't do a lot of that playing around or whatever. Like you go, like you stay focused in. Like you might be one of the best I've ever seen at locking in. I can't lock in that long, but you can. I've watched you in the back, walk in, stay locked in the whole meet. You know what I'm saying? Down to the last pull. You know what I mean? And I've never been able to do that in all my lifting career. I've never been able to do that. That level of concentration. Is that something that's practiced or is that something natural? Um, Like, how do you, I don't even know how to ask the question. Like, is that just like something that natural? Are you just natural one of those people that kind of lock in, or is that something you've had to work at over time?
I think it's something I had to work out over time for sure. I think it's something like I train with Jesus a lot, and it's something we do really good when we start. The closer and closer we get to the bigger meets,
Hmm.
you'll come into our session, and yeah, we'll talk like that first 5 minutes, maybe
Yeah,
whatever. Like we're boys, we're gonna talk a little bit, but once we
yeah,
start loading those plates and we start building up, like
yeah,
there'll be sessions where we're not talking for like 40 minutes, or if I'm talking, it's like, hey, what do you need on the bar? 45 minutes, an hour, where we're just building up to our top sets and then getting to our back downs, which is crazy because we're boys. You know what I mean? Like we
yeah,
talk all the time, but that's something I feel like it was almost a conscious thing. Like, hey, we're gonna work on really locking in when we come, especially we got these bigger sessions, whatever.
yeah,
And then meet day, I feel like it's a little bit more natural. Um, to be fair, I have scaled back on it just a little bit meet day because I used to
yeah,
be like that where I wasn't trying to laugh with nobody, I wasn't trying to talk to nobody.
yeah,
Um, and now I'll come into a meet and I'll be dialed for those 3 attempts, but in between I'm like, all right, these are still my boys. Like, let me like talk it
yeah,
up. Let me stay loose. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I've kind of changed the mentality slightly. I'm still focused when I need to be focused.
yeah,
So it's like those 3 attempts. That's like in the gym, right? We built up to that top set,
absolutely,
and then afterwards we could chop it up a little bit.
yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to find that balance a little bit where it's like almost like you can waste energy trying to be too focused for
Bro,
5 hours. You know what I mean, or
I
4
can't
hours.
do it. I've tried to be locked in. I tried. This is I tried. I had it was a bench only in Puerto Rico, in APF, and I was like, you know what? I always do my experimentations on my bench only meets because I'm like, all right, this is a small sample of what a big meet could be like, right? And so I went in like thinking like, all right, I'm gonna go in this bad boy. I'm gonna stay locked in the whole time, bro. Like I'm not here to, you know what I'm saying? Because that was gonna be my first. That was gonna be my first time benching 500. And that was when I was like I wasn't even a 93, I was a light 93. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna hit this five. I think it was like 501. I'm gonna hit this 501. This will be my first time doing five. So I'm talking, I was just seeing blood red the whole time. Didn't say anything to anybody, bro. I ain't talking to anybody. And I hit it. And I didn't want to celebrate. Like I just remember I was saying, like, let's go. I got up and I walked to the back, but I was so locked in. I was so just seeing red the whole time I was there. I was like, man, I didn't really have, you couldn't really enjoy it. So afterwards, I remember like, all right, that's not up for awards. I was still in it, bro. I could not get out of it. I was stayed in that mode, man. And like they gave me my medal. I went to the back, man, and I just like I finally kind of let it all kind of subside. And I was exhausted. I'm like, but there's no way I can keep this up for three whole attempts. There's no way. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm with you. I try to find a balance, bro, but I don't have. I'm an extremist. Either I'm all the way in to the left or I'm all the way into the right. But I'll be in the back cracking jokes, listening to music, dancing, and all that. I ain't really, you know what I mean. And it sucks, bro, because I really want to try to find that balance, but I mean, you know what I mean. I have not found like I'm walking around like the mayor, bro, talking to everybody, and then
Yeah.
my coach says, "Yo, get over here." And my wife said, "Get over here." Um, I I do want to ask about, just how it's been, you know what I mean? Because like you really were a part of that first group of people that really kind of ushered in, what's the word I'm looking for? Like when it's I feel like we're kind of in a hyper growth era of powerlifting right now. And you were really one of those people, you are, I should say, one of those people that really helped usher that in. What with the high level coverage of worlds and then moving into the Sheffield and and how all that kind of blew up, man. Like, what's that been like, being one of those, to be honest, you kind of one of those pioneers that kind of helped usher in like this hyper growth era of powerlifting.
It's been, I mean, it's been amazing, right? Like we've been waiting for something like this,
Yeah, man.
especially if you like really care about this sport and you want to see it grow and you want to see it on TV or you want to see
Yeah,
just good things happen for it, more opportunities open up for people, right? With
yeah,
Sheffield, and Worlds. I think the last Worlds was on Eurosport or something like that.
yeah.
And people can start putting more into it because we're getting more back from it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
now we're getting more media attention. Now we're getting Obviously, people are getting paid at Sheffield.
Yeah.
If you have sponsors, like now there's more opportunity to get paid out if you do good at World, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that's what we've been waiting for. And it's crazy because
Absolutely.
when I started the sport, right, I started in high school powerlifting. You're not even thinking about this. You know, it's some
Mm-mm.
niche sport. Like everyone cares about football, volleyball,
Yep.
basketball, all that stuff. But then as you start doing it, you're like, damn, what if this really turned into something bigger?
Yeah.
And you don't really know if it's going to happen though. And you're just putting in
True.
work because you love doing it. You're just putting in the work
Yeah.
because you love doing it. But then it's like, wow, look, we got this reward finally for all this work we've been
Finally.
putting in
Yeah.
for 14,
Especially
13 years,
especially on
whatever.
this side, dude. Like, I mean, I feel like on the untested side, I feel like they kind of had it, not necessarily a head start, but they kind of got it early, bro. Like they got the idea of like, you know what? Let's do these big payout meets. Let's get these people paid. Let's and the thing that I really noticed, especially on the untested side, was they had more than one big money meet. They'd have two or three of them joints. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
they started going big money meets worldwide. You know what I mean? Like, so you could go, you could go down to Australia and do a big meet, or you could go to Europe and hit a big meet, or you can be in the States. They had two or three big meets. And I feel like, especially the raw tested powerlifting is just now catching up to the idea of, we can pay these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, it definitely helps with with it being recognized as an emerging Olympic sport. That never hurts. But I think the big thing that's really helped is just the crossover and the marketability of big name lifters like yourself, and that people can identify with. It's been real cool just kind of watching it, man, because like I feel like I've been hurt for like 3.5, 4 years. You know what I mean? So like when everybody was really starting to eat, I'm like, man, I'm on the sidelines, bro. Like right when I think like, oh, I'm about to hop in, like, nah, man. Like that was like one of my goals, like literally one of my goals. Like I'm finally gonna compete. You know what I'm saying? Will we be able to lift on the same platform? You know what I mean? I couldn't do it. Maybe got hurt. So I'm like, all right, well, nah, I'm chilling. Um, what's it been like for you? Because I mean, you've had about a year and change, maybe around a year of really kind of battling like some nagging injuries and everything, man, and really having I want to say, take a few steps back in order to take some leaps forward, man. How has that been? Like just dealing with injury, trying to bounce it back and everything, and realizing that I mean, like your best lifting is still ahead of you.
So I think that last part's important, right? Because that's the longer you do it and the slower the progression gets, and then you start hitting
Hmm.
these obstacles. The mental side of it is the toughest part, right? Because you start
Right.
questioning those things like, is my best lifting still in front of me? Can I still get back there with the adductor injury I've had, and then now
Yeah.
the shoulder, whatever, the low back.
Yeah.
And so you're constantly fighting that battle of like, I feel like we're kind of built the same way in terms of like, if we don't feel like we can get to the top, like if that's not even in sight,
Yeah.
then I almost start thinking like, damn, is it even worth it? Because I ain't trying to
Yeah,
just
bro.
go in there and get my ass kicked by all these
Nah,
people
man.
every meet. You know what I mean? So it's like
Nah, bro.
you're constantly trying to fight that mental battle of like, all right, I can get back there. And then once you start seeing that path, that's kind of what got me out
Yeah.
of it. Like, okay, now I'm starting to see that progression again, and I'm starting to build back.
Yeah.
Then I kind of get that mental edge, that mental drive back. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I can do it. You know what I mean? But I think, like you said, if it's what have you done for me lately? So that part kind of sucks too, because it's like, all right, I did Sheffield and I felt all this like notoriety, and I felt
Yeah.
like man, I finally got to this spot where like people were noticing like all this work I've been
Yeah.
putting in for like 14 years. But now it's like, all right, you've been hurt for a year and 3 months now. You didn't do that good at last nats because you were hurt, and now it's like people could just not give a fuck quick. You know what I mean? Like
Bro,
they could
I'm
just not
telling you, hey, they forget you're alive real quick, dude. Like it's
quit.
nuts. I
Yeah, so
mean,
you got to find that. I've seen a lot of athletes do this. They get in that mindset where it's like, if someone says something good about me or someone says something bad about me or no one's saying anything, it's like you got to just treat it the same. Because like
yep,
if people are like singing your praises, when shit goes bad, it'll flip so fast, right? It's
bro,
fickle.
listen,
So
I would never, honestly, I thought, it took me honestly, it took me what it had to be like 4 or 5 years ago is when they finally hit me like, bro, like you're right. Like it doesn't matter if they sing your praise today and they're hating on you the next day. Um, they're excited for you to put up crazy numbers, and then they're, what I'm saying, if you bomb out, they forget that you were alive. And honestly, I really didn't think that it was like I thought, okay, I'll preface it by saying this: powerlifting is an amazing sport. It's a great community when it's great. But bro, I'm telling you, man, I can't even call it's not toxic. It's just full of just a lot of never have dones that hate on the people that either have done or about to. Um, and the best example I always use is Ray. Bro, like when before Ray bombed out that one Worlds, bro, like he was that dude. I mean, no one had anything bad to say about Ray. You know what I mean? And it was great. It was great. I mean, he did a lot. I should say he does a lot for powerlifting. I mean, and let's be honest, of any powerlift that you know up to this point in life, you didn't see ESPN posting anything about powerlifting before Ray. You didn't see Eddie Hall posting Ray. You didn't see Thor posting Ray. You didn't see any of that. You didn't see anybody posting anything about powerlifting prior to Ray, squatting that thousand plus so easy. So it was crazy when, he bombed out and everybody just turned on him.
Yeah.
And like for me, I was like, bro, I know for a fact that this dude who's arguably one of the greatest that ever did it, if this guy who never says a negative thing to anybody, never has a bad word to say about anybody at any given point in time, if they're trying to tear him down, no one's safe. Um, and again, kind of like we had talked about earlier, as far as like, you know, I knew that when you look at Ray, you look at like, hey man, this is the creme de la creme. Like this is, what I mean, this guy is sponsored by Lico. He's sponsored by Rogue. He's sponsored by anybody that could be, that could sponsor him. You know what I mean? And if Ray has to work a full-time job, there is no way that I can eat off powerlifting and powerlifting only. There's just no way. And then you fast forward to present day, like, you know what though? If they make one or two more big money meets, it's the possibility that a powerlifter can do a big meet every quarter, you know what I'm saying, or every other quarter, and you can actually live off of it. Couple that with some good sponsors, bro. Because I mean, I've had some great sponsors over the years. Like you could actually live off of it. But yet and still, like you said, it's what have you done for me lately? You mess around and have one bad meet, bro. People are like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? And it dries up quick because I'm living proof of that. You know what I mean? Like you can't. Someone worlds, I don't know how many times at this point, bro. And like I won worlds in the same year, been dropped by a sponsor. Like so, like what are we talking about here? Um, I think the cool thing, with this game is, kind of how you said, is you have to have a way to compartmentalize the checks and the minuses, the praises and the boos, and realize like it's all kind of grouped in the same thing. I mean, it's everything is really kind of based off of people's opinion slash emotion that's about you at that particular point in time. Um,
Yeah.
the thing that I've really enjoyed with watching you and in your career up to this point is how you will, what I'm saying, you'll take that lick, you know what I'm saying? You'll take it on the chin, bro, and then like, you go back to the lab and you'll figure out another way to be successful. One of the again, I have to sing your praises. I gotta give you your flowers, bro. Like, I know there was a point where you were trying to figure out, all right, am I gonna go hook grip? Am I gonna go mixed grip? You know what I'm saying? Like, which one am I gonna do, bro? And you know what I'm saying? Didn't you do it in the middle of a meet? You
Did
know what
it
I'm saying?
at Worlds, yeah.
At Worlds, you switched it in the middle of the meet, and you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that was again one of my, that's a Mikey moment, bro. Like, I got a lot of moments that you've done as a lifter. Again, I ain't listen. There's no secret. You're one of my favorite lifters, bro. So like, there's a lot of stuff you do. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. Um, like, you're one of the you're one of the most this just thing. You're one of the most dangerous lifters on the platform when you're on the platform. It just is what it is. Um, the thing I really I gotta know is like, you know what I mean, is that, I mean, obviously you're a competitor, bro. Like it just is what it is. And like you alluded to it earlier, like, you've done it so long. You know what I mean, like, you can pull out tricks that like not a normal dude can just really just do. When you're in a moment like that, and again, like, let's rewind the clock. Let's take it back to Worlds. You know what I'm saying? And that grip's not working the way you want it to work. Um, like Was that something you had in the back here? Like, you know what? If it's not working, I'm gonna switch to I'm gonna go to mixed grip,
Yeah.
or was it like I'm just gonna roll with what I got?
Yeah, it was in the back of my head the whole time. So I was like having like on and off grip issues. And I knew if I brought like a big pull, I'd have a good shot to win. And I'm like, okay,
Facts.
it can't be the grip that makes me not win this meet. So
Right.
I think I was like 2 weeks out and I hit my top single with straps. And then I went down to my first back down and I was like, all right, let me practice mix. Like I ain't practiced it in years at that point. I was like, let
Yeah.
me just practice like a set or two and just see how it feels.
Yeah.
Um, and it felt like it didn't feel good, but I was like, but I can still do it. I felt the
Right.
strength was still there. It just felt different.
Right.
So when I get to the meet, pull the opener, and I'm kind of already thinking right there, like I might just need to switch right now because the opener
Yeah.
I pulled it, but I just felt it a little bit.
Didn't feel right.
Um, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And then so I pulled the second, missed on grip, and then I told the coach I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just try mix." Um, Worked out. I mean, 2-1. It was close,
Hey,
but it worked out.
hey, 2-1, still fun. Hey, you lose, you move on. Um, like, and so now I guess, I mean, you coach a lot of people, man. Like you got a lot of really good lifters, man. Like I said, I talked to Deb earlier, man. I mean, he's going to worlds. Um, when you're coaching, I guess we're gonna go into coaching back a little bit. When you're coaching, and when you're coaching your people, is that something that, at the rip, like you kind of know when you have a person like, hey, this person has the potential to be a world champion. This person has the potential to really go far in this game. So the way that I coach them is going to be a little bit different from how I coach a person that may be like, you know what, I might just want to do local stuff. I might just want to stay in shape. Um, like we can use Dev for example. Was there something you saw and like say in Dev, and you're like, you know what, man, this dude, his numbers are progressing up to that world class level. Like, maybe we need to switch the game up a little bit with him and really start helping him try to, focus on getting his mind right towards, maybe competing at world champion as a world champion. Or is that something that he kind of already had in his mind? I guess when you're coaching people, you kind of have a that kind of a gut feeling like, hey, this person might be the type that can really go to that next level, or or is it one of those things that you kind of discover it as you discover it?
I think I definitely get some gut feelings, but you don't know until you got to work with them for an extended period of time. And like you said, you got
True.
to see the mindset, right?
Yeah.
Because like I've worked with some guys that I feel like just naturally super strong. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
this guy might be the guy, right? And so that's what I'm thinking
Mhm.
at first. I don't really say nothing yet. And then stuff might start coming up and they're like, hey, I got some life stuff. I'm gonna take a break. Or just
Yeah.
stuff will start coming up where it's like, okay, and not that there's anything wrong with this, but I can tell this is not your number one priority.
Yeah.
And at this point with where the sport is and how big it is, you can be naturally strong. But if it's not like a big priority in your life, you're
Nah,
probably
man.
not going to get there. You know what I mean?
Nah.
And again, that's not no shade or slight.
Nah.
That's just what it is. Like some people are
Yeah.
more about it, some people are less about it. So you got to kind of find that out over time. It's funny you bring up Dev. I mean, he is like my best lifter, strongest lifter. But there's something that I had to learn with Dev over time was like that trying to be like super motivating and like hype him up and like I was talking about earlier with like making the meet seem really big.
Yeah.
That never worked.
Yeah.
It never benefited him at all.
Yeah.
If you see him competing, he walks up before the lift, no headphones. He's
Mhm.
calm. He did his little hand signal. I'm not sure what it meant, but he does his little hand signal to the camera. Calm though. He's just like
Yeah.
that. That's how he performs best.
Unflappable. Yeah.
So that's something that I had to kind of like. Okay, I don't want to start telling him like 12 weeks out, like hyping him up like this is the biggest meet of your life and you're gonna win
Yeah.
this thing. You know what I mean? Like I kind of hold back on that because I know
Yeah.
his best is level. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And on the day I kind of realized that too, but that's kind of a tangent. That's a different thing. But yeah, I think it just takes some time. Once you see the lifter's mindset, you can kind of see like how far they're willing to take it, right? Because
Yeah.
ultimately it's up to them and what they how much work they want to put in.
So we are here. Speaking of work, we gonna talk about you and the work you're putting in right now. You what you got a meet coming up, what how many it's not that what few
About 4 weeks
weeks?
out, three and a
How you
half
feeling?
weeks. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. the squat and deadlift are going good. I ran into like a small, I wouldn't even call it an injury, just like some pain on bench.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll kind of see. It's a local meet, and so I'm
Yeah.
trying not to stress it too much, right? Like I don't want to force
Yeah.
my body into another injury. I'm gonna just go in there, maybe snag a PR or two, maybe we'll see.
Oh,
Enjoy myself on the platform because it's just been a long time since it's been what 14, 15 months by the time I compete, I think, since the last time I competed. So just enjoy it. I'm what 29, been doing it for 13, 14 years. I definitely feel like I've done more meets than I'm gonna do
yeah.
in the future.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've done, I think, 50 meets. This will be my 50th meet. So it's like, am I gonna do another 50? I don't know. Maybe another 20, maybe another 30.
Yeah.
I don't know about another
Well, I
50.
mean, and I think a lot of times people don't understand, like, you get, and I think we talked about this a little bit. You get to a level that that we've been at, because I can't even say, I can say you're at currently, but I'm still hurt. I'm still healing up, so the jury's still out. Like, where my body's going to be at after I heal up. But when you get to the level that we've been at, it's you can't really do anything else aside from a bigger meet. You know what I mean? Like, one, and this is completely no shade to anyone else that's lifting. But you go to a local meet, there's not going to be anybody that really can touch you. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's not because people aren't strong. It's just that when you're, a world class lifter, when you're in the 1% of the 1%, like, bro, like it's just naturally you're just that much stronger than everyone else. So it's like, okay, so I can go and I can do this local meet, or I can gut local meets, you know what I mean, week after week after week, you know what I mean, and I can win every single one of them, and I'm gonna be, 400 or 500 pounds, ahead of everyone else. But where's the fun in that? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I can focus my attention on the meet that's gonna get me to the ultimate goal. And the thing is, like, once you've been to the show, you don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, people have to understand, like, and it's not easy to go back to the show every single time. And, you know, it's hard enough to stay on the platform every single time. And I'm not even talking about top two, top three. I'm talking about to stay top five. To stay a top five lifter, especially in the US, bro, that's a chore in and of itself. And to have the skill and strength and be on that day to be a top two, to be that dude, that's an even slimmer, odd. I need you to explain to people, man, like, how not easy that part of this game is. Because I think people, it's kind of a what have you done for me lately? Like, bro, I've been killing myself to try to stay at the top. I need you to explain to these people, bro, how difficult it is to stay as one of the top dogs in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're in a more similar position than you think, like in terms of me building back from the injuries. So I feel like I'm the same way. Like I'm not really there right now. But like let's say that span when I was going like nationals, worlds, then I went Sheffield, then I went worlds again. That span right there, in terms of like sacrificing my personal life, was like, and it sucks to say, but like I'm probably not the best friend at those times, right? Like I don't have the best social life at those times.
Yeah,
I'm not drinking, which I do like to drink with my wife and my homies and my family and
yeah,
stuff. But like that's like what 16 month span where it's like I'm not really doing any of those things. I'm
yeah,
turning a lot of stuff down. I'm staying in the house. I watch a TV show, go to bed. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I think that part of it is a little bit harder than people think when you're that locked in for that length of time. And there's some people that
yeah,
have done it longer than me, right? So like hats off to them. I know Keiko's like that. Like every meet he does is like Sheffield World, like
yeah,
crazy. And it is like a mental toll on you as well. Like you're constantly just like you're always just thinking about this big meet coming up. You're
yep,
trying to do well. You also want to make it worth it, right? At least that's the way I think about it. I want to make it like, all right, I'm devoting my whole life to this basically.
absolutely.
And so there is a pressure. It's like, all right, I'm giving everything to this. And it's like, if I don't win, it's like, not that it's for nothing, because it's not for nothing, right? We're getting better. We're improving as humans, all that. But
Yeah,
sometimes it feels like that at the end. It's
Oh,
like, nah,
absolutely.
I was all in to win, and I got second. And so
Yeah,
it's
in the
like,
moment, bro. In the moment, it sucks. Like I don't, like you feel like everything that you did was literally for nothing, and then
yeah,
you know, and I mean, you're able to calm down, and when the emotions kind of wear off, you're like, you know what? But I really worked my butt off. I got stronger. You know what I mean? I'm in a better place than I was, before I started. So I mean, but that's always after the fact. But in that particular moment in time, you think about
yeah,
everything you did to get up to that point, and I like, bro, did I just waste damn near 2 years of my life? You know what I mean? Trying to,
yeah,
be that dude. Um, Conversely, if you look at it on the other way, when you do go and you do win, it's like this, it was all worth it. So it's just hard, man. I mean, because you're right, you sacrifice so much because it's not one of those things where you can tap in and tap out. It has to become your lifestyle. And I mean, I try to. I'm blessed because I do have a close circle of people that do realize like, hey man, when this dude's trying to lock in, because it's been like that for the longest. I mean, even it's just weird because even when you know I I got hurt and I was like, well, I know that it's gonna take me at least, and it's crazy to think, like it's gonna take me at least 3 years to get back to where I was, to where I can compete in the open, you know what I'm saying, and be a competitor. Now I can go, easy,
yeah,
I can go, but I'm not trying to go to be a top 10 lifter, dog. Like I've never, I don't know what it's like being a top. I ain't trying to know no top 10. What are you
yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like if I can't go in there and like like, oh shit, less is on, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And let's be 100. Like if you say it right now, bro, it's hella 105s that's killing it. Hella 93s that's killing it. You know what I mean? So you can easily be ousted out of that top five. But like, I mean, I feel like with the 105s, there's about seven solid 105s. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And there's about 7 or 8 solid 93s. You know what I mean? So like, if you're gonna try to go back in, and I mean, again, you might be right. We might be a lot like, if I'm gonna go back in that bad boy, if I'm not top 2 or 3, like what am I doing? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so my training has to speak to that. And so if my training totals aren't at least, you know what I'm saying, 2100 plus, then what are we talking about?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I know that unless I'm training at weight, which is probably not the case, I'm probably gonna be training over. I'm probably gonna have to cut a little bit, so I'm probably gonna lose, maybe 1, 2, maybe 3% of my strength, probably five. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm gonna go on that thing, probably not doing as much weight as I did in my training. So my training, you know what I'm saying? I need to be up and past anything I'm thinking of. So, like shit, that means I need to be closer to 22, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Realistically speaking, in my training. So then when I do cut down, I'm not losing too much, or not losing my meat. So like, and you think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you think about all of this stuff, dude, when you're training. You know what
that's
I mean?
another,
And
yeah, that's part of that mental stress because it's like always on your mind and like
it's
you want to talk
always,
about
dude.
it and you're always thinking about like, okay, how can I make this next session better? And like I said, how it
Yep.
controls the things outside your life. Like,
Absolutely. And like you think about the variables, like what variables can I control? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna I'm gonna delete those because I don't want those to be the reason that I didn't do as well as I could have done. And then, you go and you'll hit good training session. You have that one training session that's questionable. Like, damn, you know what? We straight. That
yeah,
was all right. That was one. And then you go back and you have another one that's questionable. Like, hold on, bro. Like, and that's when that your stressors are through the roof, and you're thinking to yourself, like, all right, do we need to make some changes? Do we need to adjust numbers? Do I need to adjust my intents? Like, do I need to adjust something? What I mean, in order to make this next one a win? You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of that's when, like people like yourself that have had a lot of meets, that have a ton of experience. That's when you're able to, like, rely on experience. Like, you know what though? There's a win somewhere in this training session. Somewhere I'm going to get a win. The weight may not have moved the way I wanted to, but my technique was on point. Or, you know what I mean? Like there was some bar path issues that I was having that I was able to correct. At this point, I mean, obviously you're weeks out from this meet. I mean, is there anything mentally that you're doing different going into this meet than you did with any other meet?
Nah, it's pretty much the same. And the fact that it's a local is almost I'm locked in on my training, but like
Hmm.
that, like what I was talking about outside the gym is not the same right now because it is a local meet and it is like a little bit harder for me to like feel that natural pressure of it.
Yeah.
But I'm also just like my two goals for the meet. Well, my main goal for the meet is just do the meet, move some decent weight, and stay healthy.
Hmm.
So, like in terms of mindset, that's like the biggest shift because
Yeah.
before it's like, of course, I want to stay healthy, but that wasn't a goal. That's just like yeah, I want that, but the goal
Yeah.
is go PR my lifts and win. And if I get hurt,
It is
like
what it is.
it is
Yeah.
what it is. But now, since this is a local meet and I'm just trying to get my feet wet, my first thought is just like, all right, let me stay healthy. Because let's say I put up some PRs and then I'm broken. It's like, well, I still got to do.
Yeah. Go
I want to
back.
do like another meet end of the year. I would like to, and then I want to do Nats, and then
Yeah.
obviously the big goal is to go back to Worlds. And it's like
Right.
it's just what's going to be productive long term over the next like year or two,
Yeah.
um, for my other comps. So yeah, just stay healthy. I would like to hit a PR or two, but it's like if I just go 9 for 9, put up a decent total, stay healthy, and even if I make the lifts look easy, and I know,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I could have snagged a PR, but I didn't, but I know it's there.
Yeah.
That'll be good enough for me mindset wise to just keep building.
Yeah. You can go back to the lab and keep building off of that. I mean,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you know, and that's kind of I'm hoping, bro. Like I'm just hoping I'm trying to take a page out of your book. I'm really hoping like after I heal up, bro, that I can really compartmentalize my progress to a point where I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna try to because I think my problem's been in the past is like I'll heal up, I'll come back, I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's go.
Yeah,
Um, I did that going into Masters Worlds. I'm like, I finally healed up, dude. I hadn't, bro, my legs had not felt that good, my back hadn't felt that good, like my body hadn't felt that good, probably 4 years. So let's get it. So I'm in the garage by myself, not one spot in sight, just tripping. I'm like, yo, let's just, what I mean? And like at that point, I had squatted 750 in like a year and a half. So I was like, I have 750 for a triple. Let's go, bro. And first one, one. Second one. Third one. I'm like, come on. And that
yeah,
was it. So I it was weird because I mean I've always kind of had an idea of like be smart, learn your lesson, be smart, don't repeat the same mistakes. But I hadn't felt that good in years, dude. I swear, Mike, I don't think I've ever felt that good like in shit since COVID, dog. So
yeah,
I was like, man, let's just roll. I mean, because I was going to Worlds, and I'm like, you know what? I'll go to Worlds. I mean, and I can take, what I'm saying, 30, 40 pounds, 50 pounds off of this, and I'll still put up a 30, crazy squat. And ended up hurt myself to the point where I damn near barely made it in. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I take those Masters Worlds as just as serious as I took my Open Worlds, but it's just, what I mean, like I don't have the meat anxiety that I had going into into Open Worlds. It's because,
yeah,
bro, like everyone's nice. Shit, it's not like that in Open, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so cutthroat, you know what I mean? And I think I know that for me, if I'm gonna have to, in order for me to get to a world championship, I gotta go through you. I gotta go through Ashton. I gotta go through Anthony. I gotta go through a hell of a lot of people. Dog, you gotta it's some sharks in the water, dog.
yeah,
Um, and I'm not one of those, like I said, we already said it before. I'm not going just to show up. Like I'm going to compete. Like I'm trying to move some weight. You know what I mean? And if I can't do that, one, I feel like I'm doing the sport a disservice. Two, I feel like I'm doing my competitors a super disservice, bro. Because like, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm and at the end, this is actually this goes back to you. The one nationals that I thought I was gonna get a chance to compete against you, I'm like, hell yeah, I already know Mike is gonna be his A game. I know this. I expect that of you. You know what I mean? So I'm like, shh, bro, that's a 700 plus squat. That's 500 plus bench, 800 plus pull. I got to be on my A game because Mike is going to, that's his bare minimum. It's like, what are we talking about here? So, there's an expectation that I have of my competitors, you know what I'm saying, that helps me set an even greater expectation for myself. Um, and when I'm not able to do that, I don't feel like I feel like I'm doing my competitors a disservice. When obviously going into this local meet, you know what I mean, like you know, your attitude is obviously it's a bit different. So let's say, and again, this is all just just I don't know, this is all I guess just questions out of thin air, but let's say that you know what I mean, this approach that you take going into this meet goes really well. You go and you PR maybe, you know what I'm saying? You have, a super solid meet. You have, hell, let's say you PR with weight left on the bar. Like, oh shit, okay, bet. We leave this meet. We're working our way back into training for the next block, I guess lead up to the next meet. Do we change anything in terms of our attitude, or do we use the same attitude going into the next meet? Let's say, like, man, this actually worked out. Maybe this is something I use for future meets.
Yeah, I think that would be the smartest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
It's hard because we've all been like what you just said about how good you felt. It is like that kind of emotion versus logic thing, right? Like you feel good, you're mentally
Yeah.
fired up. Um, and we've all been through that phase of training where like, bro, I used to not care what the RP said. Like I was like, I don't care what you put on this
Let's
paper,
roll.
bro.
Yeah.
I'm like Bryce Lewis just hit 705 deadlift. All right, I'm gonna hit it for two. Like
Yep.
that was the mindset before, but where did that lead me? Right, it led me to be getting really strong, but also led me to the injuries.
Yep.
Um, so it's definitely finding that balance. If if like you said, it goes well, then that would definitely be something that it's like, all right, maybe I should just adopt this going forward.
Right.
Whatever's going to come to the best result on meet day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it's not like the most exciting thing. It's not like you don't got a mama mentality. You're not Kobe, right? If you're just thinking
Yeah.
about like, all right, let me stay healthy, let me leave a little bit in the tank every single session. It's not exciting for social media. It's not fun, but it's like if
Yeah.
that's what's going to make me show up the best on meet day, then it's
Absolutely.
like that's got to be the move. You know what I mean? And I feel like I had already gotten better about that in the past. Um, but it was always the big meets, right? Like this last nationals, I got really good about it. I was like really, really keeping things to trying to be as true to the RP as possible, not pushing things too hard. But then I started getting closer to this meet, and I'm like, oh, and I got a session in with Ashton, and I'm like, oh, I got to go against Ashton though. Like, I can, I got to go against Ash. Like,
Yeah.
I can't not squat this weight, or I'm not gonna win. You know what I mean? So,
True story.
um, and then I ended up tweaking my back, and then the meet day I ended up tweaking my adductor, and it was just like kind of snowballed from there. So I don't know. It's easy to say when I got this local meet, like, yeah, I'll do this for
Yeah.
nationals. It's easy to say that before I see Anthony McNaughton benching 550 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's easy to say I'll do it.
Yeah.
But that'll be the plan at least.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's the hard part about being a competitor is, being able to really make yourself stop. Um, I feel like in almost 90%, 90, I even say 92, 93% of our lives we're fairly pretty well disciplined. But then it's just that other 5 to 7%, man, that'll just drive you, you know what I mean? When you see somebody in your weight class going crazy, like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? You see somebody, you know what I mean, just do something that's just, oh my God, the deadlift is beautiful. I got to get in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, it's always been if a new album drops, I'm like, yo, I got to get in the gym and go crazy. I don't know what it is. Music makes me just do stupid stuff. Um, you know, I'll watch a few of y'all go crazy, man. But I've always it's weird because I can kind of stay within myself. You know what I mean? When I watch y'all go crazy, I'm like, yo, that's dope. But they're also shit 10 plus years younger than me. You know what I'm saying? I could go crazy one time, bro, and that might be my last time going crazy. Um, it's just it's weird, you know what I mean? And you mentioned like, you know what I'm saying, like you're young though, bro. Like, you've done it for a long time. Um, and I think one of the things you pointed out is, when you get to this level, the PRs and those milestones start coming up a little fewer and far between. Um, but I think what ends up happening is that you know the secret, the secret of the sauce, the combination it takes for your body to push yourself past its limit in order to find that new PR, in order to find that new, that new threshold that you can push it to. It's just the time it takes to get there. Um, and it's weird because it's weird saying like to a guy that's, what I'm saying, like 29, 30, like, hey, so you as an older athlete, because you're not really an older athlete, but as you've aged as an athlete, um, have you changed a lot of like the way you train? Aside obviously training smarter, but as the newbie gains, and like you really start, hitting that grown man strength era, have things changed in terms of how you're training, how you're approaching your training?
Are you talking like programming or like just
I mean,
mentality
between
of it?
programming and mentality, I'm very leery to talk about programming because I don't necessarily want, what I'm saying, you putting out, what I'm saying, like how the sausage is made, what I'm saying. But at the same time, you know, I mean, are there different things that you've taken in terms of, I mean, I guess I would say generally different things that you've done as far as like your programming and your mental approach is as you've gotten older in the game.
I think one thing I've changed is like, okay, what makes a successful session, right? Or a productive session? And I used to think, bro, I used to try to hit PRs like on any day. Like it would be like, all right, I didn't PR my top set, but I'm gonna try to PR this first back down set. Or I didn't PR, or it's a tertiary bench day, like my third bench day. It's like I'm gonna try to
Yeah.
hit the most I ever hit on a tertiary bench day today. And that used to be like the mindset of what was like a successful session, right? Like
Yeah.
I have tangible evidence, right, that I'm progressing
Yeah.
because I know this weight on the bar is more than I've ever hit at this RP on this day, whatever it was. But now that's not really a predictor of like a successful session for me now. Um, I'm definitely more conscious of my technique, which that seems like such a normal thing, right? Like, oh, we should all
Yeah.
be doing that. But
Yeah.
if I have like four sets in a row where I'm like, damn, that felt dialed in. Like I hit every single cue and I
Hmm.
felt what I was supposed to be feeling, right? Like I felt that midfoot heavy on deadlift and I felt like
Yeah.
I was using my legs. Um, that could be a successful session for me, right? I
Yeah.
know that's
Facts.
still leading to me getting better. If I come in on a week one and it's RP5 and I hit something that's like, damn, I know I could have hit that for six. I know
Yeah.
I could have hit it. I smoked it. My technique was good. All that. Now my mindset's starting to shift to be like, okay, now that's successful. Like that's what I want to be
Yeah. The confidence
doing
builders for
every
sure.
single. Yeah, exactly. It's a confidence builder without fatiguing myself and without loading up these weights that don't need to be loaded at the
Yeah.
time. So, I would definitely think that's the mindset shift. And then I would say in terms of programming, just I mean, it's simple, but it's like just more sub max stuff than I did before. Um, More direct, like percentage drops off my top sets where it's like, now this is the weight you're doing. Even if it feels too easy, right? Even if it feels a little bit too easy, like this is what it's going to be. And then next week
Yeah.
we'll bump it a little bit, or the next week we
Yeah.
could bump it a little bit. But it's like I'm trying to be more strict with things like that. So I'm getting enough work to progress, right? We're just trying to find that balance. Enough work to progress,
Yeah.
not too much work to get
To
hurt. Basically, yeah,
overtax. Yeah.
to overdo it, over fatigue, and then more risk of injury and all that. So
There's something that I guess I'll definitely ask because I really I I guess it's something that's always on my mind with obviously with people that coach, man. I actually did a video on it earlier, but like, do you get because you do coach a lot of people. Do you ever get, people that ask, well, coach, what do you do? Like, how is it that you do it? Is that something that you get? And then, and if you do get that question, is that something you try to lead them away from, like, hey, don't necessarily do it like how I do it. Let's find how it works for you. Um, so I've talked to a few coaches, man. I think the cool thing for those that are listening, those that are watching, man, especially in the game now, there's a lot of us that that I've noticed. Like, I mean, you get there's a handful of world class athletes that coach, and even smaller. And this is no shade to anybody, but there's an even smaller percentage of those world class athletes that really coach at a high level. Mikey's one of those. So and this is the reason why I'm asking the question, because when you do perform at a high level and you're coaching at a high level, there seems to be sometimes a little bit of a mixture where you do get people that'll come on, or people that'll want you to coach them, that they may want to, like, hey, so what do you do? Is there something I can do like you do, so I can, do you ever get that? And if you do get that, do you deter them from that, or do you give them what they want? Like, How do you handle that?
It definitely depends on who the person is. And this is something I've tried to get better at recently, right? Because I feel like I used to let a lot of my own training bias affect like how I was programming people, right? And I was
Yeah,
like, and just because that's what was in the forefront of my mind, like that's what I was thinking about a lot. And so
yeah,
I was like, if I needed to make an adjustment for myself, maybe I would be quick to make that for somebody else before like
yeah,
maybe they needed it. Um, I will say people that are in the same weight class as me are like 105 to 120, or even 93. Like those weight classes, there are
yeah,
similarities that
yeah,
work with a good amount of people. I'm not gonna say everybody.
yeah,
So there's some stuff that I'll take from like I'm like, damn, this worked really well for me. We got about the same amount of muscle mass. We're
yeah,
similar strength. Like it might work really well for you too, and I will
yeah,
take that and use it for them. But if it's like 57 girl or like a, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it just depends.
yeah,
Like the context matters in that situation. Um, so yeah, just basically like context dependent. Like, are you built like me? Do you have leverages like me? Okay, this might
yeah.
actually work really well for you.
Right.
You have a shorter round bench. Okay, maybe you can bench 4 times like I bench 4 times. Just things like that, but not just like blindly giving it out to people or like, you know what I mean? Like if it's
Yeah.
just like any, or if it's a beginner, it's like,
Yeah, bro.
hey, you don't need to do
Yeah.
that yet. You're not
Yeah.
there yet. And you might get there, but it's like, let's milk um, like let's just say it's 3 to 4 bench days. It's like we can
Yeah.
milk the 3 days for you might have
Big
2 more
facts.
years of progress with 3 days bench.
Absolutely.
We're not gonna
I mean, you
force
may
you
not need, yeah,
into
for
four
4 days.
times right
Yeah,
away.
man. Because some people just say, they're not. There's some people that are naturally built for it. You know what I mean? Like out the gate, they're, and a lot of them might have a huge athletic background. Whereas you might, you know what I mean? You might have some that are beginners and all they do is lifting only. Or they're just getting into powerlifting. And if that's one of the things they're just getting into, you don't necessarily want to just, throw them in the deep end like, hey, swim. Let me know how that works out for you. So yeah, I totally agree with that. We go switch some gears though, bro, because we'll talk about lifting forever, bro. But I mean, I need, again, I don't want to put people's business on the street. You know what I'm saying? You're a married man, you know what I'm saying? Beautiful, lovely wife. Um, prior prior to I would say prior to getting married, um, was your training different than it is now? Like, you know what I mean? When you didn't have someone to come home to. You know what I'm saying? When you I mean, we all always have someone to answer to in some respect, but like, before you were a married man, before, you know what I'm saying, you had the happy wife, happy life scenario, was it always just training, 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 and then I'm gonna get home when I need to get home? Or were you always one of those like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna get these 2 or 3 hours in and I'm out?
Nah, definitely when you don't have the early on, when you it's not even just like being married, it's like when you don't have really any responsibility or
Mhm.
very little responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, bro, I would buy a day pass and be in the gym from like 9 a.m. to like 2 or 3, getting
Yup.
full body with my boys. Like stuff
Yup.
like that is just you're just not doing that now. Because in your
Yeah.
mind, you're like, all right, I can make better use of this time, right? Like I still gotta make money, I still gotta take care of my
Facts.
house, I still gotta cut the grass, I gotta
Yeah.
wash it, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was like way early. So
Yeah.
I would say once I got into like college and stuff and even and after that, like those few years after that, I was already a little bit more time conscious regardless.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no,
Right.
I got stuff to do. Like I'm more independent now. I'm a grown man. Like I
Yeah.
gotta handle bills. Um,
Yeah.
and so now I wouldn't say anything's really changed, right? Like, okay, yeah, my wife might call me home early or tell me before the session, like, hey, we gotta do this at this time.
Yeah.
But now that's on me, right?
True.
Now I gotta adjust. Now I get to the gym a little earlier. Now I don't talk to whoever for 20 minutes before my
Yeah.
session. I talk for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like I make it work just fine. I don't feel like it's
Big facts.
any hindrance. You know what I mean?
No, I'm with that. I'm with that. Like I think the cool thing that started happening, I guess, with me and my people, my boys, was everyone, started having a significant other. Everyone's family started like kind of forming, you know what I mean? So when it sucks when you're like the one single dude by yourself and everybody's like leaving, like, yeah, we still got some sessions, we still got some work to get in. But I
Yeah.
think as the maturation process happens and as families start, growing, and relationships start thriving, and everyone starts, really kind of progressing on in their lives, their personal lives, those 3 4 hour 5 hour gym sessions that two of those hours you just hanging out, they'll start becoming a little bit fewer and far between. And it's not, because you don't want to kick it. It's just, but everyone has something else going on. And
Mhm.
so, it's not like you're being left out, like, hey, I gotta get to the crib because the family needs to eat. Or yeah, you're right. I gotta go take my family some food. So that part I definitely feel you on, man. Because I used to just go to the gym and just go, bro, and just stay there. I'm
Yeah.
like looking for something else. Like, all right, what else can I live? What else can I live?
Yeah.
And I think more more so now than anything, I feel like now I think I value my time in the gym a bit more than I did. Just because I know that when I go in there, I've got X amount of time to get X amount done, and I'm in and out. I got to be in and out. And if I'm usually now, especially now at this level, if I'm going to a gym, I'm going specifically because there's people there that are at least comparable. They're either stronger than me or they're comparable in strength. They can spot me. They can spot what I'm doing, and they can help me get better. Otherwise, I'm gonna do everything in my crib. Um,
Yeah.
so if I peek my head out of my cave, bro, it's because I'm trying to move something stupid, and I need all hands on deck, and I need eyes on me that have moved weight similar that can help me. Like, hey man, that look good, or hey bro, you need to work on this, this, and this. Um,
Yeah.
when you're I guess at this point, like, and I guess this would be a good way to segue into the questions. But when you're at the level you're at, do you still, I mean, and I mean, obviously Jesus is there. I mean, Jesus is he's one of the greats doing it right now. When you're at the level you're at right now, are you still one of those that, like, you reach out, you'll DM, hit somebody like, hey man, I got this going on. What do you see? Do you see something that I need to work on, or is it strictly between you and coach?
I try to keep it between me and the coach just
Yeah,
because I don't want too many. Like me and Jesus will talk about stuff informally, I guess. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
training stuff,
yeah,
little injuries, whatever. But I'm
yeah.
always looking to that. I'm always looking to the coach first because it's like I don't want too many takes on something. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like I need somebody I trust, and then once I have you have my trust, then it's like, okay, now I'm gonna just be all in on what you're telling me because it's like
yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to vary or like spin my wheels because I'm trying something
Yeah,
else.
too many
Um,
cooks in the kitchen.
exactly. So I'll do it. It might happen here and there, right? If I see someone's
Yeah,
technique that looks like, man, I want to try to like lift like that, or maybe I want to make an adjustment like this person,
yeah,
maybe I'll ask, but it's not often.
yeah. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, man. I got so many questions. I was trying not to make it too much lifting, but it is what it is. I won't take up too much more of your time. We definitely. I mean, I'm telling you, like I tell Deb, like, I mean, like, we're gonna do. I mean, I'm assuming you're going with him to Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be at Worlds. Yes, sir.
What I'll probably end up doing, bro, because I mean. I mean, what you have your meet and then he has his that next week, right?
Yeah, I'm on
Or
the 7th. He's on the 14th.
yeah, that's right. Man, I'm on it. So what I'll probably do, bro, most likely, man, I'm probably gonna have y'all both back on. I might just do all three of us at one time. And we'll do like a post meet recap of yours and of his, you know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
I think that'd be cold for real. But 'cause I won't take up too much more of your time. We'll hop into these questions. So you guys already know what I do. We have the three questions we ask every single guest every single time. So we're gonna hit question one. You're on a deserted island by yourself. What are three things you're gonna take with you to that deserted island, and why?
Shit, I'll probably take. I definitely gotta have a phone.
All
Taking the
right.
phone. Hopefully, I got some service. Damn,
I will say,
this is.
yeah.
I gotta take the phone, bro. Um, Let me think. What else? Am I stuck there, or I can get off?
You're stuck for the foreseeable future.
Shit.
So yeah, man, it's a deserted island. It is what it is.
I might low key. I might bring like a whole cow or something. Like I need some
Wow.
food. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
can just slaughter this cow, make some beef jerky, eat that for
for a while.
some protein, not to lose all my gains. Shit. And
See
I'll
me,
probably take the guitar for some entertainment.
the phone, cow, and guitar. You play the? I know you play the guitar.
I'm a new guitar player. I'm trying. I ain't good,
Oh,
but
you just.
I do enjoy it though. But I'm not nice yet. Not yet.
Here's the thing. Like, here's a little known fact. I used to be nice on the guitar. And then
Word?
I broke my hand in high school. I can't even do a three with this
Damn.
hand, bro. So I tried to switch. I tried to switch over, but it's just not the
Yeah.
same. It's not the same
Yeah.
playing like, from the first to the right, then this thing trash. So yeah, trash,
Damn.
bro. Look, I can't even do a three, dude. So I
My
be dropping
my
these deadlifts.
my pops played like my whole time growing up, and I was on the drums growing up. Like I was in the
Oh,
church.
word.
I played in church.
Yeah.
I was on the drum line in school and all that. But then as I got older, I was like, damn, I really want to learn the guitar too. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm 29 though. I'm like, I'm a little old. I got other shit to do, but I get in that hour here or there whenever I can.
Dog, my boy, here's a cool little story, man. I got a boy that he taught himself how to play the guitar. No lessons, no nothing. He taught himself how to play the guitar when we were graduating college, dude.
Hmm.
So or maybe I think he taught himself like we were no, I was in grad school. I just yeah. So we were like 24, 25. Taught himself how to play the guitar and all that stuff, right? Um, ends up he does some country contest or whatever, does really well with that, moves to LA, and then he starts playing guitar and singing backup for the singer JoJo. And like now he plays guitar like all these different bands and stuff, man. He has like a couple albums out, everything. His name's Cafe Anderson, but the dude taught himself how to play the guitar and everything, man. Like later in life, bro. So like it's
Yeah.
never too late. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought about it. I thought about like trying to see if I could just I have to take lessons and see if somebody could teach me how to play it the opposite way. I mean, it
Hmm.
I mean it won't necessarily be hard as far as the reading the music. I can read that all day, every day, but it's just it's this is so weird.
It's just foreign,
Uh,
right? Because you never done it with that
Nah,
right hand.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like I can throw the ball left and right. I can eat left and right. I can write left and right. But you tell me to put a guitar in my right hand, and nah, dude. I just so
Yeah.
like I tried to play guitar. No joke. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get Guitar Hero. I'm gonna switch
Hmm.
it over and I'm gonna see if that and that sucks. I'm like, I'm done. I ain't. So I might have to get some formal lessons. Um, question two. Question two. Your Mount Rushmore. Who is on your Rushmore? Now, use the instructions. It could be lifting, it could be life, it could be music, it could be whatever. But who would you put on your Mount Rushmore? Who four people you put on your Mount Rushmore?
I'll go lifting. Um, I always say this whenever because I've been asked this something similar on another podcast.
Mhm.
Personally, for me, Gene Bell's on my Mount Rushmore
Come
because I
on
grew
now.
up
Come on.
when I first ever even learned about IPF Worlds or any of that because I didn't even know about that when I got out of high school.
Same.
That's like one of the first people I met that was like a real legend within that first
Yup.
year. And then they
Same.
start telling me like, oh, he got like 10 plus world titles, and I don't know what the real actual number is, but it's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
Um,
Gene's that dude.
and then at the time, some other people I heard were like popping and stuff. Gene never popped, kept winning, went up a weight class, won masters. Like,
Yep.
so I'll put him on there. I put Jesus on there already. I
Yeah.
think I think he already has 3 world titles or 4. Um, and really at this point, it's like, how many does he want? Like, ain't
Big facts.
nobody's really touching him. You know what I
Nah.
mean? Already won Sheffield. Already has like 3 world titles. I don't know how many national titles. All time world record
Yep.
total for any weight class.
He got it
Um,
all.
so I'll go ahead and I'll put Jesus on there. I'll put Ray on there just
Big
for
facts.
the impact. Also think he has like 3 or 4 world titles. I don't know how many he has, but
Ray has like five,
he has
four or
5.
five. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Put Ray on there. Um his impact was crazy too. Not just like
Insane.
the lifts, but just
Insane.
like how he helped blow up the sport and stuff.
He blew it. Yeah, man.
Um, I don't know too much about untested. I could throw hack in the last spot because
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I know there's like some up and coming guys that are like doing crazy shit right
Yeah.
now, but just in terms of someone who won Natty, he won IPF Worlds, and then he
Yeah.
goes over to untested and he
And
does
yeah. That
yeah,
dude's
so
done it all. Yeah.
we'll throw hack in there too.
Old hack. Big John. That dude. And it's crazy because the cool thing about every one of these dudes that you mentioned, they're all super nice guys, man.
Yeah.
Um, all the type to give you shirt off their back, you know what I mean? They love the sport, they love the people in the sport, they're great ambassadors of the sport. Um, like honestly, it's funny, man, because like Gene, I used to be deathly afraid of Gene, bro, but I knew exactly who he was, man. I'm like, yo, like it was the first people that I ever knew of, like when I got into it, I was like, well, I'm gonna look up and do research on people that look like me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I knew
Yeah.
about Gene Bell, I knew about Anthony Harris, I knew about David Ricks,
Dave
and
Ricks. Yeah.
Dave Ricks, man. And then, I mean, of course, I knew about Ed. And I mean, the thing I knew about Ed is like, they're like, well, you guys are kind of the same size. I'm like, damn, he lifted all that weight at this size. That's crazy. And then when I met Gene, I'm like, yo, shit, he's my size too. And when I
Yep.
met these, it was like, yo, all these dudes are my size, except for Anthony Harris. He's like bigger than all of us.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, man, like every one of these dudes, man, they care about the sport. They've given back to the sport in so many different ways. I mean, and I think at the end of the day, man, it's like one of those things that like if you should ever aspire to be, what I'm saying, one of the top level dudes, like, what I mean, you can't go wrong with any one of these four. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I feel like, I mean, I know they Hack gets labeled the GOAT, but I don't honestly think people understand like how cold Hack was even as Natty, bro. Like, I mean, because he was going against Brett Gibbs when Brett Gibbs was he was
Yeah.
Brett Gibbs, you know what I
Peak
mean?
peak
So
Brett Gibbs. Yeah.
peak Brett Gibbs. It's crazy. I told Devin, I tell you, like, so when I asked him he's like, man, I should put coach. I should definitely put Mikey. He's like, but Russ, between you and Russ, bro. And he gave Russ the nod. I'm like, I'm gonna let Mikey know, bro, that you chose Russ over him. That's
It's
yeah,
all
crazy
good.
work.
He could have it.
Yeah. And
I need this.
then
I need this world title first, and then you slide me in there.
hey, listen, bro. Listen. I told you that. I told you then. I'll tell you now. I feel like it's coming, dog. I feel like you got all the tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's God's honest, man. Like it's somebody that's won it a few times. So like you got all the tools, man. Like you know what I'm saying? When you're healthy, you know what I'm saying? That means that the squad is going to be impeccable. You know what I'm saying? When you're healthy, that means the bench is going to be insane. You know what I mean? Like I can see you benching a 525 30. I mean, you're built for it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like you've got the tools for a big bench. You should be benching, low to mid, fives, you know what I'm saying, in the next year or so. And you know what I mean? Like your deadlift, bro, like I don't think this is for real, for real. I feel like if you don't know what the weight is, I feel like you could damn near pull anything that's on that bar, like straight up. And that's not me being
Yeah.
funny. That's not me glazing. Like, like you're built in such a way, bro, that like they could put. I feel like they could put 400. If you don't know there's 400 on that bar, I guarantee you could pull that. Like I'm not
Yeah.
being funny about this. This is not me glazing. This is me being like you're built. And here's the thing: if anybody's ever seen Mikey in real life, you know, like you know what I'm saying, like he 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 looks big, like on social media. He looks big, like you know what I'm saying, like on YouTube and everything. But when you see him in real life, like this dude's big, bro. Like you're not a small dude. But the way you're built, the way your leverages are, man, like if it breaks the floor, in my opinion, when I watch you pull, I'm like, if it breaks the floor, it's gonna get to his knees. And if it gets to his knees, he's gonna lock it out.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're like shit in the middle of that, you know what I'm saying, that chess versus checkers, you know what I'm saying, and like, hey, we're bumping, you don't know what the weight is, I feel like they can pull whatever on that bitch and you can pull it. And that's not me being funny. That's me being
Yeah.
straight up. Um, you know what I mean? Mikey, and I think that's the thing. Like every Mikey that's been at a meet of the last, I want to say 3 or 4 meets, it has been Mikey at 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like,
Yeah.
but the thing is, you have to have been a person that's been hurt quite a bit to know what it's like to watch a person that's lifting that's hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like I know
Yeah.
what a 100% lifter looks like versus somebody like, he's in that bitch about 85, 90. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yep.
is not bad. If you can make it to
Yeah.
a meet at 85 to 90%, like you
Yeah,
could,
that's
but
pretty
if
good. That's pretty
you know what
good.
I'm saying, but if you go into a meet at 100%, which you know what I'm saying, like I feel like prime example, Anthony. Anthony was at 100% at that meet, bro. And we saw what a 100% lifter can do. Like
That shows, yeah.
stupid. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like so much so that I'm like, yo, man, we got to get in the lab, boy. Like,
Yeah,
you know
we
what I
gotta
mean?
work.
So,
Yep.
and this is cool because that's what the game needs. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't just be the same old dudes doing the same old things expecting to get different results. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony came in that whole shook it up. Like, hey, so now what? The bar set here. Now who's gonna come catch me? And
Yeah.
well, that's our job. Our job's like, all right, bet. I'll see that. Cool. That's where you got it at. All right, we're going to come get that. And then that's what's going to happen. We're all going to go and get that. And then somebody else is going to come on like, you know what? Mikey's going to be like, you know what? This was cool, but let me go and set the bar a little bit higher. But I feel like if there's going to be anybody that can do that, it's going to be you. I mean, like you got the pull, you got the squat, you got the bench. You know what I mean? Like, and I think more than anything, I think the fact that you have such a huge upside to that deadlift. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I go into a meet, I know for a fact I'm going to have to be a subtotal king. My subtotal is gonna have to be through the freaking stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? Like all you gotta do is hang around. Like shit, I can pull because like you got the capability.
Yeah.
You can be one of the final pulls. Like that's what I've been working towards my whole career. Um. So yeah, dog. I feel like you easily have the ability to be in that list of the people that you mentioned because every one of them had the ability, you know what I'm saying, they could close the meet out. They have the ability to close the meet out. So I feel like that's one of your biggest advantages that you have that ability. You can close the meet out if need be. So I mean,
Yeah.
I just think it's a matter of time before 100% Mikey goes and shows these people what it is. All right, that's enough glazing. Final question.
All right.
Final question. So, you know what I mean? I'm gonna set the stage. You know what I mean? You went to local meet, you had a real good meet, set a couple PRs. She probably had about 20, 20 plus kilo left in the squat, had about 5 to 10 kilo left on bench. She had about 25 plus kilo left on deadlift, but somehow you managed to PR all of them. So it's a nice little meet, nice little local meet, you know what I'm saying? You got another meet probably a little bit later on in the year before Nats, and like, oh man, I'm probably gonna put up by 22 easy, something like that. I don't know. So you feeling good. You know what I mean? Like, hey, babe, I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat. Let's go celebrate. We had a good meet. So you guys go, right? Get something nice to eat, whatever, nice little restaurant, whatever, somewhere downtown Austin, whatever. You know what I mean? You walking out, do steps, you like, whoa, 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 where you think you're going, sir? Hey, we got to get home. We got to get back to SA. You know what I mean? The lady's hungry. Hey, hey, you're not going anywhere. I need you to run that wallet. Whoa, you want my wallet? What you want my wallet for? Tell you what, I'll make you a deal, my boy. Gun at you. The only way you get past me and keeping your money is you got to give me 15 seconds of a song, verbatim, word for word, bar for bar. Could you do it? And your answer is
Yeah, I think I can do it. I think I got it.
bet. Okay, you what song you got?
Uh, it's a song me and my girls sing for karaoke, but it's a but it's a rap song. Uh, one of my favorite songs of all time. Regulate, Nate Dogg,
Ah,
Warren
that
G. Yeah,
they dog. Well,
yeah,
okay. All right, well,
yeah, yeah,
listen, I'm
yeah.
gonna give you your 15 seconds. You let me know when you're ready, and I'll start your 15
What you
seconds.
want me to start at the beginning?
You can do whatever. It's yours. You're the one trapped. You're one trapped.
All right, all right. I'll start at the beginning. I'll start at the
All right.
beginning.
All right. Yeah. 15 seconds starts now. You're on.
Regulate. We regulate any stealing of this property. We're damn good too. You can't be any geek off the street. Got to be handy with the steel if you know what I mean. Earn your keep. Regulated. Fuck. It was a clear black night, a clear white moon. Warren G was on the streets trying to consume some skirts for the eve so I could get some funk rolling in my ride. Chilling all along. Just hit the east side of the LBC on a mission trying to find. Is that good? I know
Yeah, that
that's
was already
15.
15.
I know
Hey, you
that's
hey, you
15.
was I was letting you black out. You was blacking out. I was gonna let you do your thing. Man, listen. Mikey, my boy, I appreciate you, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate you taking the time to do this pod with me, man. Like I honestly I don't know what took me so long to get you on, bro. I was sometimes I always feel like people are too busy, man. But I just went ahead and rolled the dice and asked you. I'm glad you said yeah. Um, this was fun, man. It's fun for me because, like I said, you're definitely one of my favorite lifters, man. And I try to make no secret about the people that I really admire, man. I feel like you're one of the ones in the game that just here of late, the last 3 or 4 years, you've been finally getting your flowers, deservedly so. Um, at this point, man, I can honestly, you might be on a very very short list of of high level, world class, world championship caliber athletes that have the ability to coach high caliber world championship level athletes, man. And that's a very, very, very short list. And if you think I'm joking, I can the only one that I can think off the top of my head that's a world championship lifter that what I'm saying that's coaching world championship type lifters is Mike Teixeira. Aside from that, you know what I mean? Like you might have a Bryce Lewis. Um, but when you think back on that, I mean, there's a very small list of you guys that's doing it. That's gone to world championships, that's gone to a Sheffield, that's gone, what I'm saying, and won nationals and beat some of the best in the game and been one of the top 2 or 3 in the world, and then can turn around and coach lifters, at a world championship level that are building people up from obscurity all the way up to compete for world championships. So I have to definitely give you flowers, man. I commend you. I thank you for joining me on this podcast, man. For those of the people that are living under a rock, where could they find you?
Got Mikey D on Instagram. Let me see. I be forgetting how it's spelled too. Hold up. Yeah,
I'll post
Mikey
it.
D with 3 E's and an underscore after that. I do have a YouTube channel that I haven't posted on in about 10 months, probably. But I am going to get back to that eventually. And that's just Michael Davis on YouTube. And that's pretty much it. That's my 2 platforms that I'm on. So other than
Man,
that, you want some coaching, hit the link in the bio, Flex Training Systems, mention your boy Mikey, and we can get that started too.
damn, ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, living legend, Mikey Davis.